Hello everybody, I'm Chris and welcome back to another episode of Versus. This time we have two number ones. We have Princess Leia number one and we have Hawkeye number one. So this time it's not two companies, it's the same company but with two number ones. So was Hawkeye number one better than Princess Leia number one? Or was Princess Leia number one better than Hawkeye? First, a really briefie. Hawkeye number one, no, let's start with Princess Leia. Princess Leia number one is a miniseries. It's a 4 to 5 issue miniseries. It opened up with Princess Leia right after the first Star Wars movie. And the Rebel Alliance is, setting up, the Death Star was just taken out. Everybody has these jobs that they're doing except Leia. And when Leia goes to the commander tells her you can't have a job because there's a bounty on your head, so your job is to basically stay no more than 5 meters away from me. We have to protect you now, princess. And there's a conflict with the way some of the rogue pilots in Rogue Squadron feel about the princess, that she was very cold, about how she was mourning the deaths of all the people from the Death Star run, Alderaan, all of it. And she actually ends up sort of making friends with this pilot, Evan, who there's a whole epiphany by the end of the book that the Empire is looking to find all the remaining surviving Alderaans and then destroy them. So she decides to leave the planet against the commander's rule and find the Alderaans and protect them. So that's what this miniseries is going to be about. Leia breaking off on her own, protecting the rest of the remaining people of her planet. And for the first issue, it's an interesting start. I need to see the next issue to see how to judge the actual miniseries in and of itself. I want to see a little bit more of the story before I judge it. Hawkeye issue number one, my first gripe with Hawkeye issue number one is it's out before the conclusion. This is actually, I'm sorry, let me correct myself. All-New Hawkeye number one is out before the conclusion to Hawkeye. So we still haven't seen the conclusion to the series that this takes place after. So that's already a minus. I wanted to know what happened and how the other series ended before we jumped right into this one. So that started the series off with a bit of a minus. We jumped directly into the action. Clint and Kate are on a mission from S.H.I.E.L.D. Maria Hill sent them to this Hydra base where she believes there's this dangerous new weapon they're developing. And Clint and Kate can't find anything, so they're about to leave. Kate gets trapped behind and Clint has to go back to save her. And in getting trapped behind, she actually ends up finding this special weapon that Hydra is developing. And I'm not going to spoil what that is. But really, it was a very quick issue. Jumped through you headlong into the action. I like how they explain how Hawkeye could hear again. It's all thanks to Tony Stark. It's the magic of comic books, people. The artwork I enjoyed. The story definitely has promise. Again, just like Leia, I need to see a little bit more. I need to read a little bit more before I can make a really decisive judgment on this series. Now, number one. Which issue deserves first place and which issue deserves second place? And I'm sorry to say, for those of you Hawkeye fans, Princess Leia definitely deserves first place. I liked how the story started off. I like how it developed. And it has a lot of promise for the rest of the miniseries. Whereas Hawkeye, again, the minus was we didn't get the final issue to Hawkeye yet. And All-New Hawkeye, which I have to still get used to saying, you got thrown into the action. We don't know how the other one ended. Obviously, it ended well, and Kate and Hawkeye are now working together. I just have to see where Jeff Lemire is going to take the series still. So I'm more sure, or more leaning towards Leia, because the story has promise. While Hawkeye does have promise, it has the minus, and it also has the, okay, so where are we going to go with issue 2? Still have to see, and I really wasn't too keen in this book with the flashbacks with Barney and Clint as kids. The artwork and the watered, it felt like the pages themselves were watered down. So I need to see a little bit more Hawkeye before I can be more decisive. Whereas Leia, I'm almost sure that I'm going to enjoy the rest of the miniseries. And I really like Terry Dotson's artwork in this book. Not saying that I don't like Perez's artwork in Hawkeye. I do like it in Hawkeye. It's really good. Both artists actually are really good. Both stories left me needing to see a little bit more, but Leia gives me more promise Hawkeye has a lot to prove, especially after the recent, volume. It's not by any means Jeff Lemire's fault, the previous volume. It was all due to a lot of, Matt Fraction's timing. I understand that, and I'm not going to judge Jeff Lemire on that. However, I need to get back into Hawkeye a little bit more before I can give a really strong judgment. But Hawkeye is definitely pretty close up there. Again, it was a very average week for me when it came to comic books, and Hawkeye fell average, whereas Leia definitely stood out amongst all my other books. So with that, that's my versus, guys. So what do you guys think? Hawkeye or Princess Leia? Which one would be your number one? Which one would be your number two? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to check out comic-related, Comic Frontline Zone 4 Podcast and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together, we are your number one source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys in the next video.